these recordings available if you've got people in your groups that couldn't come. Oh, and look at that, Winvale, it's got the camera happening. Welcome. Welcome, guys. Good to see you. Yeah, we will make these recordings available to you. Okie doke. So I'm going to, and again, we're going to start to talk about Office. Okay, so when I, oh, actually, I better share sound. My kingdom for sound being automatically shared whenever I share my screen. That would just be brilliant. It's my feedback to the Teams team. All right, guys, so when we talk about Office, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pop in the chat for me, please, what app you use the most from Office. So just pop it in the chat so we can all see. No worries, Carolyn. You go ahead and do that. And by the way, guys, 90 minutes till our next break. So we're about 1 o'clock my time, 12:30 your time. Okay, then we'll have lunch. Okay, so people are saying Outlook, OneNote, Word, Teams, Word. Yep. Okay, I would dare say for most of you, it's probably Outlook is the one that you use the most because you check your email and stuff. But obviously, oftentimes we don't think about Outlook being part of Word, but it actually is. Sorry, part of Office. But yeah, a lot of people using Word as well, for sure. Matthew, you've got your hand raised. Is that from?
Yes. Sorry, I can't put things in chat at the moment because I'm not actually a part of the team. I'm not a team member. It's not allowing me to do so.
Oh, okay.
So please don't think I'm not trying to get involved. Or just it's the
no, that's fine. So Matthew Buckingham, if you could add him, Cindy, into the team, that would be really helpful. Just make sure.
Yeah, Matthew, you've actually joined as a guest, not using your eLearning account.
Yep. I didn't actually get a. I've tried searching for the stream and for the team independently on that, but I never got a code to enter.
Okay, let me send you an email and I'll add you the team. Troy, if he joined as a guest, your speaker should be able to too. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't
I'll
know
sort that out.
All right, thank you.
Oh no, it looks like he is in. Cindy, he just sent me a message and said he got in. So that's good. Okay, yeah, so we've got a guest coming in at 12 o'clock your time, guys, to speak, and yeah, we're just having a bit of a back channel drama. But cool, yeah, and Matthew, when you get that, you may need to leave and come back in with your LearnLink email address.
Okay, will do.
All right, very good. Yeah, that's right. So in terms of the tools that we use, a lot of us are using Word. A lot of us, of course, are using Outlook, but some of us are using things like OneNote, others are using Teams and that kind of thing as well. So when we think about Office, Office 2019, just to confuse us, was released in 2018. And so really that is now a 3-year-old version of Office. Now what happens is if you've got Office with the date after it, meaning Office 2015, Office 2013, Office 2016, Office 2019, these versions of Office do not mature. Okay, they'll get the the security fixes and the bug fixes and all that kind of stuff, but they don't get any new features. They are the version of Office as it was released, back when it was released. And there's Office 2021 is apparently coming out this year. Sorry, it'll be called Office 2022. Will be coming out this year, and so there is a new one coming. But I just want you to keep in mind that it doesn't mature. Excuse me. And how do we check what version of Office we're using? Well, I'm going to show you, and I'm having a bit of trouble with my machine today, so hopefully this is going to actually open for us. But if we come into Word, for example, and no, that's not going to work for me, so I'm going to try it in a, I'm having a bit of a device drama today, and it's not opening apps for me. Oh, goodness. Thank you, Demo Gods. Cindy, would you mind sharing, just open up your copy of Word and sharing your screen? You're on mute.
Yes, one sec.
Yeah, you don't need to open any sensitive documents or anything. We just want to see inside of Word.
Yep.
I think my machine's about to do some updates. Yeah. Okay. So when you are inside Word like this, okay, Cindy, if you can just click on File up the top in the ribbon.
Yep.
And then, so Cindy has now clicked on File and she's got this menu tree down the side here in blue. Go right down to Account and click on Account. Now, can you see, and I'll get you to just bring your mouse up to where it says subscription product. Yeah, so where hers says subscription product, Microsoft 365 apps for enterprise, basically if your if your version of Office is Office 2019, then it'll have a date after it, right? So it might say Microsoft Office Pro Plus, Professional Plus 2019 or Microsoft Office 2016, etc. That is the version of Office that does not change. But what Cindy's got here is she's got Microsoft 365 apps for enterprise, or it might say Microsoft 365 Pro Plus. But what's key is where it says subscription product. And what that means where it says subscription product means that that device, that the whole of Office, not just Word, is constantly being updated every time there's a feature update or a feature release coming in. So that means that Cindy doesn't need to buy Office 2022 when it's released because she has already got everything that's coming, and everything that does come. Oops, someone's making coffee. I'll just mute that person. So that when Office 2022 does come, Cindy's going to say, oh, that's old hat. I've got all these features, I've got all these functions, right? So I want to talk to you guys about that and make sure that you understand whatever version of Office you are using, the department has bought for you not only Office 365 in the cloud, but this version of Microsoft 365 apps that Cindy has on her machine as well. And I want to show you how to access that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my browser. And fingers crossed that it opens. There we go. And I want you to come with me. We're going to go to office.com. So that's www.office.com, or just office.com is fine. And then that's going to bring us into, and just throw that link up there for you. There it is again, office.com or www.office.com. And that's going to bring us to the start page of, oh, actually, I need to reshare, don't I? You guys aren't seeing my slides. Dollar in the jar. So here I am at www.office.com, and when I log into office.com, you can see over here where it says install Office, okay? And when you are on the device that you want to install this latest greatest version of Office on, you would log into your computer, come to office.com, sign in with your LearnLink ID, and then you will click on install Office, and you'll click on it twice. Now, boys and girls, don't do this now, because if you do this now, you're going to start installing software onto your machine, and we don't want to be doing that now. I want you to stay with me. But later on, lunchtime, end of the day, you can come into office.com, click on install Office and Office 365 apps. Now, of course, remembering how Cindy showed us, we need to go into to make sure that we've got the right version already, you know, and that is to go in, open up any of the any of the Office tools, click on File, come down to Account, and make sure that yours says Subscription Product. All right, and if it says Subscription Product, you don't need to do this. But what this means is all the teachers and staff and students in the department have got 5 free copies of Office. And so that means that we can put it on our work machine. Okay, we can put it on our work machine, but we can also put it on our home machine. We can put it on the machine of anybody else that lives in our house. So that's about $150, $200 worth of software that you don't need to buy. So if you're going down to Harvey Norman and buying a new computer and they say, fantastic, shall we bundle that with Office? You say, no, no, no. I'll save my $150, $200, thanks, and I will use the department subscription that I've got, and that will continue to work for as long as you work at the department, all right? So 5 free copies. Now that's for your PC and your Mac, all right? Your PC and your Mac. Now, school leaders, this can be broadcast to the school community, and you can tell them, you can put this on your child's computer at home. You can put this on the on the machines that you're using at home. It's part of being our school community means that you get this version of Office. You're not breaking any department rules. You're not breaking any Microsoft rules either, just as long as they're all living in the same house. Okay, so 5 free copies of Office. Any questions about that? No? Okay. Now, the other thing is we've got Office 365 in the cloud. And Office 365 in the cloud talks to our full version of Office and does all that amazingness, and that's what we're going to start to explore now. Okay, so this is going to be Chatty Bunch. Here we go again. This is going to be a whole group discussion, so I would love you to be a part of this. Can you see this graphic on the screen with the clouds? Someone give me a thumbs up. Yep, thank you, Windvale out of 7. Now that you've got your camera, you're worth your weight in gold. Having a look at this graphic here, this graphic's got some information. It's communicating things to us. Thank you, Philip, Dave. That's very good. Gave me a big thumbs up in the chat. So this is communicating to us about the cloud. Okay, so I've got some questions for you. What is the cloud? How does it work? And what can we do with it? Again, what is the cloud? How does it work? And what can we do with it? Now, I want you to throw things in the chat, and I can read those out loud for sure, but I would love you to come off chat and let's have a bit of a discussion. I'll leave the graphic up so we won't see your face. But the messages are coming through in this graphic. What is the cloud? How does it work? And what can we do with it? Kevin says the cloud is a distributed server storage solution. I'm going to say probably. Big words in there, but I think so. Dave says what Kevin said. Cloud is online storage. It is, yes. Come on, guys, come off mute. Don't be so shy.
Yeah, I would have said just online storage.
Okay, online storage, it is definitely that. What else? A place where you save things and share things with other people. Yes, definitely. Collaboration and sharing is part of the cloud. Yep.
In terms, Troy, of what we can do with it, certainly I've just been finishing off the end of my master's, and I've been working between my laptop, my desktop in my office, and my Mac at home, and the cloud's allowed me to have everything stored there. So if I forget my hard drive, external hard drive or something like that, then I've always been able to continue working, you know, which has been super handy.
Yeah, good one.
For that
good.
Third part of that question, what we can do with it.
Yep, external hard drives are really a thing of the past now that we're in the cloud, aren't they? Good. Can store lots of data, yes. Storage and sharing across devices, yes. So this means all files created on the computer would be accessible on all the device 365 is installed on, correct? Could be problematic with multiple users on the machines. Could be, as long as you have profiles set up, it won't be. You can access anywhere, good one. Yep, okay, very good. So looking at this graphic is communicating to us that we are on multiple devices, okay? Even 80s John McEnroe is on a mobile device, right? So he's on the move and he's still able to access things as well. As long as we are connected to the internet, whether that's through 4G, 5G, God help you if it's 3G, through NBN, whatever, as long as you are connected to the internet, then you can connect to the cloud. And it's not just about PCs, laptops or desktops, it's about phones and tablets and other things as well, that we can be accessing the cloud. We can also be collaborating together through the cloud, right? So this person here can be connecting to this person here. The skin shades and different clothes are trying to say to us that regardless of geography, as long as we are connected to the internet, then we can be connected to the cloud from anywhere in the world. Very good. People talked before about accessibility, the fact that we can access it from anywhere, 100%. Backup, so things are backed up into the cloud. Okay, it's also secure. That is, it is more secure than your shared drive at school. Did you hear what I said? It is more secure than your shared drive at school. But we are using this Microsoft 365 for our work documents. Okay, so God bless the Russians if they want to hack into Microsoft 365 and steal your lesson plans. All right. But that being said, Microsoft is the second most attempted to be hacked organization in the world, first being the US government. So we know a thing or two about security, and your documents are as safe as they're going to be anywhere. All right. And the fact that your documents are backed up 3 times in Sydney and 3 times in Melbourne, that's where our data centers are. So where is the cloud? It's not in the sky, it's in Sydney and it's in Melbourne, and 3 copies of your data are backed up in each one of those locations. So 6 times your data is backed up, whereas on your server at school, it may be once, possibly twice. Okay, and on your personal hard drive, which you're bringing along with you, it's backed up once. You lose it, you lose the computer is stolen, damaged, the hard drive's corrupted, etc. Everything's gone. Whereas when it's in the cloud, doesn't matter what happens to your local device, you can access it on the next device. Okay, we've also got all these apps up here. So these are apps that are not installed on our machine. Okay, which means that we're not taking up software space. Instead, we're using our browser, and we're using things like Excel and Word and PowerPoint and Teams and other things as well, all through the browser. Okay, that's what the cloud is. Now, it's very important. Here's my dad joke of the day. It's very important that we demystify the cloud for the people that we are working with. Okay, because otherwise they'd be like, oh, cloud, I don't know anything about the cloud. The cloud is just huge warehouses full of servers, full of computers. You may or may not have ever stumbled across the server at your school. You've maybe walked in there once and it's a room with what looks like flashing lights and the air conditioner's on all the time. And that is your shared drive. Maybe you call it P drive or L drive or LMNOP drive. Okay, that is what the cloud is, except it's somewhere else and it's in the Microsoft space. Okay, there's different companies have cloud-based servers. So we know Microsoft have cloud-based services available to you. We know Google do, Apple does, and Amazon Web Services do a lot of commercial stuff as well. Microsoft, when we do commercial stuff, it's what's called Azure, and you know we play in that space as well. But for us as retail consumers, it's going to be Microsoft 365. All right. So it is a good place to start, and make sure that you're telling people about the cloud and how it is, because people will go, oh, cloud too hard. And it's actually a really simple concept. Any questions about that? Nope. All right. I'm just wondering why my computer is so slow. I think it's due for an update. Maybe I'll do it at lunchtime. All right. So what do we get in Office 365 or in Microsoft 365? Interchangeable terms, we get OneDrive, which is our personal storage, and we're going to do a bit of a deeper dive to that in a minute. You get Word through the browser, a simplified version of Word in some ways, but at the same time has features and tools that aren't in the normal version of Word. So some contexts will call for using the traditional version because we want some of the features. Some contexts will call for using the browser version, okay? But the choice is yours. And that's one of the places that we're really strong, that we have a really good online, offline experience. And just because you're using the full version down on your machine does not mean you're not in the cloud. Okay, so you can totally still be operating in the cloud whilst using the full version of these tools on your machine. I don't use Word in the browser very much at all, or Word inside Teams. I tend to use the full version of Word, which is what I've always known and loved. And that's my choice. And that's the cool thing. So in coming into the cloud, we are not moving people off what they know and what they're used to. Okay, so keep that in mind. We've got Excel, which is also in the browser. Okay, I tend to, as a reverse to Word, I tend to use Excel in the browser a lot because I'm not building spreadsheets, and I'm not a power user and pivot tables and all that kind of stuff, whatever the heck that means. I don't do any of that. I just look at data and maybe occasionally input data into someone else's Excel spreadsheet. And so I'm happy to use the online one. But what happens when you get to year 11 and 12, okay, is that what we need for science and maths, Excel in the browser, and for what it's worth, Google Sheets, will not cut it. The science and maths students are going to need, especially at SACE level, are going to need the full version. All right, so keep that in mind, that yes, you can go backwards and forwards, but different contexts call for different tools. So whether that's Excel fully installed on your Mac or Excel fully installed on your Windows 10 machine, that's what you're going to need at that level. Think about that before you start rolling out an iPad program to year 12s. PowerPoint, for example, is much better, I find. I use the full version, but when somebody sends me a PowerPoint deck, which may be 2 GB in size, rather than download the whole thing, I can open it through the browser, right, in OneDrive, and then I can just be going page by page and downloading each page as it sort of comes along, and it's much quicker. Again, my choice, right, whatever's working for me. OneNote, your school may have a BYOD program, or as I like to call it, bring your own disaster, where we've got one student with a high-end Surface device, another student with a high-end Mac, and another student with his father's 2012 Samsung Galaxy tablet. How are we going to reach all our students when they've all got different devices? We use the tools that are in the browser. As long as they've got a browser, then they'll be able to click around and do things in there. And so we can sort of build to the lowest common denominator in terms of what are all students able to do by the browser. And that's really quite true for OneNote as well. But you're going to get the best experience from OneNote in the app, not in the browser. Microsoft Forms, big difference. And sorry for those of you that were in my course, the Discover 365, I'm going to throw the same joke at you, which is the big difference between Microsoft Forms and Google Forms is ours is called Microsoft Forms and theirs is called Google Forms. Pretty much a similar experience. There will be, hold back your applause and laughter, that's fine. The experience is very similar. Every time we do a feature release, a little while later, they'll imitate it. Thank you very much for that, Ben. And vice versa, all right? So there's a bit of an arms race up in those cloud-based apps, and Forms is one of them. But I want to really stress to you, this is something that I really encourage you to explore if we don't get time to do it in this course, because Forms will, you can do assessments in Forms, okay? They can be pen and paper assessments, diagnostics and other things, and it will self-mark if there's a definitive answer. So what I mean is, instead of a true and false test or a multiple choice test out on pen and paper and having to collect that and mark it, I put it in Forms. Students do it on a device. It's all marked immediately. And I can have a hybrid of questions that need to be marked by me and questions that Forms can mark itself. Either way, it's going to reduce your marking time. The other thing that Forms will do is it will collect that data, whether it's a form or whether it's an assessment, and it will pop it into Excel for you. So no need to open up Excel on the weekend, get all your assessments out, 7 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 9 out of 10. You don't need to do that anymore. This will collect all that for you, but it will collect far more data than just the results. It will collect who's doing the test, how long it took them to do the test, every answer that they gave on the test, etc. Really, really good tool. So yeah, and even building diagnostics, if you're in a primary environment, you can build a diagnostic and you're using the form, the student isn't, and it'll be grabbing all that data from your diagnostic.
Here we go. No, you're right.
Someone's come off mute there. Let's pop them back on mute.
Send an email out to all staff next week.
Yeah.
But the PAC
Let's hope they don't say anything we're not supposed to hear. Okay, very good. All right, so that's Forms. So go in and have a bit of a play with that. There is a channel in the team around Forms. Sway is a presentation tool. It's a web-based presentation tool. It basically builds nice little websites, but they are as presentations. You know when you put kids on PowerPoint or Prezi and you come back 3 lessons later and they're still on slide 1, I'm trying to do the, text size and the graphics and all this. Sway has templates, so you can focus on the content you upload or type in your content, and then Sway will make really nice presentations, web-based presentations for you. So yeah, really good tool. Get in and have a look. Teams for Education, you're in it. Hope you're enjoying it. And we are also going to explore that a little bit later on as well. How are we going for time? We're all right. Okay, Minecraft Education Edition. Now, I promised you there would be a little bit of STEM. We will do a little bit of a deep dive into this later on, but please remember every single student and every single staff member in the department has access to Minecraft Education Edition. This is an absolutely amazing teaching tool because talk about engagement. So kids can be doing things like, you know, a Year 9 teacher I know built a the kids together with her built a French Renaissance village in Minecraft and spoke only French while they were chatting while doing so. You can do coding and a whole heap of other things in there. And you don't need to be great at Minecraft to be able to use it in your classroom yourself. So now what we're going to do is we are going to get into our school groups and we're going to do some reflection. Now, if you are all together with everyone in your school group in the same room, or you can be, then you don't need to start a new online meeting. Okay, but what I want to do before we get into what the reflection is going to look like, I'm going to take you into the team. Okay, now, for example, if you were from Glen Burnie Primary, what you're going to want to do, I'm just going to drag this up. I realize I'm showing you on the wrong screen, dollar in the jar. Here I am in the team. Now, Glen Burnie Primary, for example, will come into their channel, okay? And the most senior person, I'm going to stress that again, the most senior person, when they come into here, will start the meeting by clicking up here on Meet. All right. If you all go in and click on Meet, you will start 4 different meetings and you'll all be wondering where each other are. Okay, so it's very important. I've got to stress this. The most senior person will come in to the channel and click on Meet. And then what will happen is it will appear, the meeting will appear just like it does in the general channel. It will appear in your channel and other people can join. You don't need to leave this call. You can just click on that. It will put this call on hold and you'll be taken into the meeting that's happening in your channel. Is that making sense to you? Yep. Okay. So inside your, inside the general channel and inside the files. So inside the general channel, inside files, and inside class materials are the reflection points. Okay. So if you go into your channel and you can't see my presentation anymore and you want to know what were those questions, general, files, and there are the reflection points. Okay, so we're on number 1, M365 reflection. So if you need to access it, right? But otherwise, the questions are as follows. What percentage of your, and remember we're looking at this through the lens of our project, right? Who's crawling, who's walking, who's running. And we're also looking at it through the lens of training. What percentage of your colleagues have genuinely adopted Microsoft 365? Right? And you can all debate what it means to genuinely adopt, but go ahead and start debating that. What are some of the authentic ways you or your colleagues are using M365? Right? Maybe in collaboration or maybe with the students. And then the last question, which is really important, what blockers to Microsoft 365 exist in your school? You may say lack of infrastructure. You may say lack of devices. You may say, oh, there's resistance because we've got, Apple and Google fan people who just love their stuff and don't want to know, and these kinds of things that you need to discuss. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to give you 10 minutes. All right. And I will set a timer. But you're going to either in the room that you're in, have a discussion, or you're going to jump into your chat inside your channel, go find your school, and then ask these 3 questions. Now, come off mute if you have any queries or questions. Cindy and I will stay in here if you can't get into your team channel and we can help you. But otherwise, fly my pretties and we'll see you in 10 minutes. And it's now, 11:24 for you guys? Is that right? So I'll see you at 11:35. Okay? Cool. See you then.
We will run, I think, different.
Sorry, Cindy, are you there?
Yes, I am. And you're
Yeah.
meant to go into your private rooms.
Yeah, there's no
Okay.
School of Languages channel as far as I can see.
Let me go ahead and create one for you.
No worries. Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
So I'm seeing a lot of you still in this call here. So you should either be switching your camera off and working with people in your room, or jumping into that Teams call down in your specific channels. School of Languages, your channel will appear in a moment.
Okay. Request control, where is that?
Ben, all done. I had to give it a number 2 at the end because you were in the STP last time.
Yeah, I think because they weren't officially part of the STP, I didn't create a channel for them.
Yeah, I'm still here. Well, I'm on my own at the moment. Matt's been called out. I'm having trouble. I know we don't have a channel, but I'm even having trouble finding the channels. I shouldn't be at this point, but.
Okay, so to find your channels, and Corn Area does have a channel. So are you in the team? You're on mute, Matthew. Matthew, you're on mute. You're still on mute. There we go.
Yep.
The Corn Area School is down here. Can you see?
QA. I see QAS staff, but
no, you're obviously not in the team.
No.
So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yep. See here where it says, if I click on Teams.
Troy, it's hidden again for some reason, but I've put the direct link in our chat. Matthew, can you see the chat for this meeting?
Yes.
Can you click on the link that I've posted in there?
Yep, the big hyperlink. I've just clicked on that.
And does it take you into the STP eLearning Leaders Institute team?
I believe so.
Yep.
I think
And
it
then
does. Looking at the posts and things now.
Yep. And then if you click on hidden channels, you should see Corn Area School down there.
Okay. Yep. Yep, that's it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Sorry about that, Matthew.
No, hey, it's my fault not being ready before today.
Cindy, can you see that team's vanished?
Yeah, remember, Troy, this happened last time.
Mm.
Like, if you go to search, though, you can still search for it. So if you just type in STP at the top, maybe e-learners, there you go. See how it's there?
Mm.
Maybe next time we'll do a brand new team. Maybe this one's a bit, I don't know, a bit weird. Yeah.
Yeah, but if I do a brand new team, I have to create a brand new team.
Yeah.
And build it all out. So.
Otherwise, you know what? I'll get my colleague with admin access to see if he can find it.
Sure. School of Languages, I've got 2 of you here. Are you guys down in do you know where your chat is? So if you're in the team, down here in hidden channel, you should see School of Languages 2.
Okay, School of Languages 2.
Yep. If you click on that, and then just join the meeting.
Oh, okay. School of Languages.
So School of Languages 2.
Sorry, I can't do that right now from the car. Really sorry, but I'll catch up with Ben probably after this or something, and I'll have a quick run through. But
no worries, cool. Floor, can you see? You're still in this call. Floor, are you? Is that how I say your name? Yeah, are you in the chat? No, you're on mute, mate. I can't hear a word you're saying.
Yes, I am just getting in my other computer to the to the other group.
Sure.
So should be working. Yes, now it's working.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, hopefully most of you are back from your virtual rooms, or if you're in a normal room, if you could put your camera back on now so that we can see that everyone's coming back. Cindy, I might trouble you to go down into some of the, there's only 3 of them that are open, and just let them know that we're all back. Thanks. Share that. All right, so if you pop your camera on when you come back, just so I know that people are back. And you can hide away again in a moment. Carolyn, while driving, you do not need to have your camera on. Please don't feel obliged to turn that on, that's fine. We don't want to be responsible for a fine or worse, an accident, so please leave your camera off. All right, I'm still waiting for a few people to come back and turn their cameras on for me. Okay, very good. All right, so good job. Now, I know that it would be good to sort of come back and sort of reflect and hear what other people are saying. Feel free, if you want to pop any of the findings that sort of came out in your discussion, if you want to pop them into the chat, please do, so that other people can see, you know, and maybe resonate with some of those issues, you know, or you can even think, hey, that's what we're facing, and, you know, you could reach out to each other. We're not going to address those in the call as such, but pop them in there if you want to, so that everyone can get a sense of, you know, what's going on in the other groups. And if we had more time, that's exactly what we would do. Anyway, let's keep moving. I'm going to share my own screen again. Okay. So when we are looking at training our staff, now this is true of our own individual upskilling as well as the people that we're working with. We're going to start to look at one of the key tools to training others, and that's called the Microsoft Educator Center. And the Microsoft Educator Center is found at education.microsoft.com. It is also found here in Educator Programs, Channel 4, over here called the MEC. I told you we love an acronym. Microsoft Educator Center lives here. All right, so you can find that in Channel 4, or you can open your own browser and you can go to education.microsoft.com. All right, no www. All right, so it's education.microsoft.com, and this is the Microsoft Educator Center. What is the Microsoft Educator Center? The Microsoft Educator Center, I'm going to maximize that there. The Microsoft Educator Center is your online training portal for self-directed and teacher-directed or professional development leader directed training. This is for teachers, this is not for students. Okay, now here's a little trick or a little tip. One thing I find a lot when I'm in South Australia and I'm running professional developments, when I'm running face-to-face, people come to me and they say, can I have my certificate? I need my certificate, because if the TRB audit me, I need to have a certificate to say that I've been here. Can I have my certificate? And it's really like no other state that I go to be honest, the way that South Australian teachers get anxious about their certificate. You do not need to go across town or across the state to do professional development to get your hours up anymore, because ladies and gentlemen, the Microsoft Educator courses meet the AITSL standards and are therefore count towards your TRB requirements. Yeah, look, you're all writing it down. He said, yep, and that equates to certificates, people, certificates. So what you can do is when you come to the Educator Center, click sign in, okay? And then you can use your Office 365 account, or you can set up a personal Microsoft account, okay? And by setting up an account, Come on. Excuse me. By setting up an account, it will start to keep a record of everything that you have done. Okay. And that means that you can print off an audit sheet that will show the courses that you've done, the time that you started them, the time that you completed them, sorry, and the amount of hours that are awarded to you for completing that course. So keep that in mind, and that's going to be a big seller for your staff as well. But more than that, you can use this to direct staff to do their own training, right? Or you can do a hybrid model where you might do a portion of the training happens in the educator center and a portion of the training happens in face-to-face, right? So keep this in mind as a tool. But the first thing we see are these tabs across the top here: training, lesson plans, programs, products, and resources. So let's look at training first, and I'm going to come into courses. So what I did was I clicked on training and I came into courses. Now what happens is it's all filtered. Okay, so I can look things up using search, and I can refine it by the type. Is it a course? Is it a learning path? Is it a resource? Is it a lesson plan? And I'll show you, I'll describe what those are in a minute. Is it beginning, intermediate, advanced? Is it, and when I'm in my own account, is it one that I've never started before? Is it one that I'm in progress doing, or is it one that I've completed, right? So I can have a look at what I've done, what I'm in the middle of, what I've yet to do. And then you've got subjects. There's a whole heap of different ways that you can filter. Age group is about the content, not about who the course is for. This is all for teachers. All right. Duration, etc. Right. So, oh, look, I've got 3 hours of PD to get up. Do some of these courses or do some of these courses. All right. So we can, the thing about the courses though, is that they are not so much product focused as much as pedagogy focused with the product weaved in. So for example, if I'm looking at inclusivity, I start to type the word inclusive in there, and then I click on search. And so now it's going to filter all the courses that have something to do with inclusivity, not necessarily just in the name, but in the content of the course as well. So these have all been tagged, right? So let's say I'm going to go into here, empower every student with an inclusive classroom. I click on that. And here it is. It's a 1 hour course. Okay. The recognition I get will be a badge. Okay, but it will also be recorded in my audit sheet. And then when I'm ready, I can start the course. And when I start the course, I've got my unit topics down here. As I go through each one, it will, there's videos and text, etc. I must be signed in, and I must complete the quiz, and I must get 80% on the quiz to get the points. But you can go back and do this quiz as many times as you need to. You can learn through the assessment, that's fine. And then when you've got that, then it will keep a record of everything that you've done. All right, does that make sense? Pretty straightforward. So again, where do we find our courses? We go training and we go to courses. Okay, so courses can be anywhere from 20 minutes to a couple of hours, but they're all in there for you. And you can see things like, look at some of the stuff we've got: privilege and frailty, anti-racism. Then we've got one about a tool, Wakelet, right? Schoolology and teams, Power Automate. So some of them are technology focused, some of them are pedagogy focused with technology weaved in. All right. Now, the next thing I want to show you though is what's called a learning path. So here I click on training, and now I click on learning paths. And learning paths are groups of courses put together in a linear fashion. So for example, if I'm going to look at Minecraft Education Edition Coding Academy, all right, so I'll click on that. So those STEM people, hope you're getting excited already. Look at this, it's 8 hours worth of PD. Got my overview and my learning objectives, but when I scroll down, there's a lot going on in this course. Here's my individual courses grouped together to make up the learning path. So I will get recognition for each of these courses, and I will get recognition as I complete them, and as I finish them all, then I will get the full 8 hours recognition called the Minecraft Education Coding Academy. Does that make sense? So again, same kind of thing when I do a search. So I'll come back into learning paths. So the learning path is highlighted. If I want to look again, let's say I'm looking for inclusivity stuff, I click on this. There's 3 learning paths, right? And some of the courses in there are going to be the same. And obviously some of them won't be as well, but you don't need to do them twice. So for example, if I do, 3 courses that are in here, they're in here, that's fine. Once I do them in here, they're already done in here. So you can go through that way, right? And you can be collecting your hours and through your through signing in, you're getting an audit sheet which you can demonstrate to school leaders and those kind of people as well. Now, even though you may use your Office 365, your Microsoft 365 LearnLink account to sign in, that does not mean that the department can see what's going on. No, this is you're coming in here as a private citizen, so it's kept private, right? So you do need to demonstrate the learning to people through the audit sheet. They can't go in and see what you're doing, all right? So that's because of privacy. Okie doke, so that's courses, that's learning paths. Occasionally we have webinars and online events, so recordings and those are there as well. Now, because you do an assessment, that's the ones that will count towards your TRB recognition. Over here in resources, we have a whole heap of stuff that's in here that does not have assessments. So that means it doesn't count as a TRB, but that doesn't mean that it's not valuable to you, all right? So that's over there. We've got lesson plans, so Hacking STEM, which is our digital technology stuff. We've also got some Minecraft stuff in there as well. And yeah, I'll come into programs in a minute, but I just want to let you come off mute and ask any questions about the educator community or educator centre. No, straightforward?
Yeah, let's go try.
Okay, cool. So a number of ways to use this. First of all, your own learning. Oh, okay. You know, our school's going to learn about OneNote. Who's going to teach me about OneNote? Go in and do the courses. Second way you can use it though is you can offer it to your staff as self-directed learning. Okay, and we know that self-directed professional development is very powerful, right? This is what the consensus, the PD consensus research tells us, that people choosing what they want to study is going to be more meaningful to them. So introduce your staff, let them go and find what matters to them and explore those courses and learning paths themselves. But the third way you can use it is you can use it as assigning them to the staff. So for example, what we've seen schools do is Monday's staff meeting is cancelled, but everyone has to do the 1 hour such and such a course, right? Or if your school has dedicated PD time, you know, in the week, that course is cancelled, everyone does the 1 hour course or the 2 hour course or whatever it is that they do. All right, so that's one way you can do it. The other way you can do it is you can directly assign it to people, right? So you can go to the Year 7 staff who are, you know, learning about Teams and say, I want you to do these courses. And you can combine it with face-to-face as well. So you could bring, you know, they go and they do a couple of courses and then they come back together and, you know, have discussions and that kind of thing. Another way that's really good to be used is if you think, look, they're not going to do the course if I assign it, you can go into the course and you can, sounds pretentious to say, but you can reverse engineer it in the sense of you can deconstruct it and create your own learning modules and deliver them face to face. So there's a lot of really good content and videos, and you can just sort of, you know, read the script or summarize the script or whatever you want to do. And a lot of my workshops have been built from going in and exploring these and you know, and rebuilding them. So this is going to be, and can I tell you something? If the Microsoft Educator Center is not part of your project, think again. The Microsoft Educator Center needs to be in some way part of your project, okay? Whether that's hybrid face-to-face, online, just online, however you're going to use it, or using it as a reference to build your own workshops and stuff, whatever you're doing, please remember this is very, very key. All right, one more chance. Anybody got any questions? Comments?
Not a question, Troy, but a comment. That's exactly what we're doing here at the School of Languages. We've got one of those learning paths, which is the I think it's the eLearning Leaders Path, which is, oh no, hold up, that's what we're doing now. But yeah, we've chosen one of those learning paths with 11.8 hours of PD, and we're slowly working through that. And once we've worked through that as a little group, as a group of about 15 of us, then we're going to take that out to the other 80 staff, you know, and we're going to become the protagonist for the change, I guess. Yeah, and that seems to be working really well.
All right, I'm going to applaud you there. I think that's absolutely brilliant. Good job. Okay, so guys, and your school did the STP last time, right? So that hopefully that's where it came from. Excellent. Okay, so the next thing I want to share with you though is the programs. Okay, so we have the Showcase School program, which we talked about. Okay, so that the school can actually go into the Showcase program and go on with that. Global Training Partner Programs, program is for commercial agencies or commercial organizations, I should say, that are doing training within schools. Student teacher education is pre-service teachers. So if you've got pre-service teachers that are coming into your school and doing placement, you can say to them, hey, have you seen this? And they can go in and upskill. But the one I want to draw your attention to is up here, the Microsoft Innovative Educator Programs. I'm going to see this little thing up here, lets me maximize, so I get a nice big screen. That was that little arrow there. So we have a few different stages in the Microsoft Innovative Educator Programs. Now, these are motivators as well as champions programs, bringing people together. So this is another tool for you to use, okay, in motivating your staff. So the first thing is anybody who does 2 hours of training on the MEC, on the Educator Center, gets this badge here, the Microsoft Innovative Educator, okay? And they can put that on their LinkedIn and on their CV and all that kind of stuff and say that they're a Microsoft Innovative Educator. And between you and me, it's not worth a whole lot, okay? But it is, it's a quick win and people enjoy it, all right? So you can use that and steer people towards that. The next one is the Microsoft Innovative Educator Trainer, which is what you guys are about to be certified on your second day. So the MIE Trainer badge, this is something. This is a genuine certification. So I'm going to give you a code on day 2. You'll enter the code and you'll get this. And basically what happens is you're certified by us to become part of the Educator Trainer group. You can join the LinkedIn group for educator trainers. You commit to reporting training to 100 educators a year. Now, I want to stress that that doesn't mean that you have to find 100 unique people. You might run 3 workshops of 34 that are 3 different workshops, right? So one could be an inclusivity one could be a teams one, and it's the same 34 people. That's 3 times, so that bang, and then you've got 100, all right? So just making sure that you understand that. This next step up from that though is and I'll teach you next time we meet about reporting your trainings. If you report 400 teachers trained, then you become an MIE Master Trainer, which is the next step up. But don't worry too much about that for now. It's becoming a trainer. And then the last section that we have is what's called the MIE Experts. The MIE Experts, it's you can see here you become an MIE, and then you complete a self-nomination form and include a 2-minute sway or a video that demonstrates how you're integrating technology into teaching and learning. You make an application to us with that criteria, and then we select you. If we choose you, you become an MIE expert. So this is a select entry program. It's not for everyone, but I want to really encourage you because we have so few department South Australia department teachers. We have so few. And so it's really, really easy if you're from the South Australia Education Department and you want to be, oh, sorry, sweetheart, did I roll over you with my chair? Oh, sorry. Yeah, if you want to become an MIE expert, it's pretty easy if you're from South Australia, all right? So you can see here from May 1st to July 15, you make an application. After that application goes in, then our American team go through it, our Australian team go through it, we select you and you come in, you sign a non-disclosure agreement, so you get to see private things and unreleased things, you work with developers and program teams, we have international conferences, national conferences, you work with with people right across the world. It is genuinely an exciting program to be in. And it's a really good career move as well if you're wanting to move into technology and education. And yeah, so we are doing our best to bang the drum in South Australia. We've got over 100 teachers nationally and just not enough coming from your neck of the woods. So please, I encourage you to apply. It would be very, very easy for you to get in. Any questions about the educator programs?
I have one, Troy. Sorry, I seem to be the only person who's asking. But with the Microsoft Innovative Educator Trainer, there you were saying if you've trained 100 people, you can attain that level, and then 400 people.
No. What it is you will become an MIE trainer as of next week when I give you the certification.
Sorry, yes.
But you commit to training 100 people in a year. And then after you train 400, then you become a master trainer.
No worries. So that were my 2 questions. One, what's the time frame? So that time frame is a year.
Yep.
And two, when you talk about training 400 people, obviously that's in different stages. They could be the same people being trained on multiple occasions.
Yep.
How is there some way that is calculated? For example,
yeah. There's a tracker. There's a tracker, and I will introduce that to you on day 2.
Oh, righto, no worries. I'll leave it then. Thanks.
Yep. But remember, you don't have to just train people in your school. If you've got a cluster or a network of schools, you can advertise yourself that way. A lot of our MIE trainers actually do paid engagements in some schools as well. They get, so that's what I mean. It's a really good career thing in terms of if you want to be a professional development facilitator and that kind of thing. It's certainly something to pursue. Great, guys. Excellent. Well, that's what that looks like. Let's watch a little video. I'm going to unshare and reshare, make sure that I've got audio. And then after that, we've got Matt coming in from a Victorian school to talk to us about what his school's done with Teams. But I'll show this to you first.
There is a feeling of being valued and understood as an educator. There is a feeling of being valued and understood as an educator.
My vision of education is us learning together.
It's the idea that each day we come, whether you're in the nicest place or the hardest place.
My students benefit from whatever I learned on the global platform. We are able to break the barrier of cultural differences, of language differences, and we are able to reach out to each and everyone out there.